And this type of leather is the most wonderful leather from Hermes, in my humble opinion. Please guys, stay with me. Hi guys, welcome back. Thank you very much for clicking on this video. My name is Oxana, and today I want to talk about Hermes leathers. By no means I don't claim to be an expert of Hermes leathers, because I'm myself fairly new a shopper at Hermes, because my first purchase of Hermes was about 4 years ago, and I actually got pre-loved item from Fashion File. Then I got my first CDC bracelet at Las Vegas. It was about 3 years ago, and then I would say about 2 years ago I become like regular shopper at Hermes, and I have a little bit of experience with all the leathers, wearing, trying on, etc., and I want to share it with you. I will try to touch on some exotic leathers, because lucky for me I have some exotic leathers in my collection, and most common leathers that comes with Hermes. And I want to start with one of the oldest leather from Hermes, and this leather has kind of, you know, I wouldn't say a bad reputation, but some of the people trying to stay away from this leather, and I have to tell you guys, you don't have to. You don't really have to. So, and this is box leather. From box leather I have CDC bracelet, full size, with gold plated hardware, and I have belt. It's actually double-sided, so about the other type of the leather I will talk a little bit later. And obviously let me remove this actually buckle, because I have two different buckles, and it's not important at this point. So this is box leather. Let me just come a little bit closer. So this is box leather. You can see that it's shiny, glossy, really luxurious looking leather, absolutely gorgeous. And look at that sheen. Oh my gosh, this leather is absolutely gorgeous. It looks expensive, it feels expensive, it smells expensive. And this is on the belt. This is the belt that I have, and this is quite common on the belts. And you see, this is where the back of the belt, where it goes on my pants, and even with all that pressure and pulling, etc., it still didn't break or anything like that. So fairly durable leather in my opinion. So box leather, the main characteristics of this leather is that it's one of the, I'm just like kind of, you know, looking at my notes, so please bear with me, because as I said, by no means I don't claim to be a super expert of the Hermes leather. So this is one of the oldest type of leather. Like if you're looking at you know, older Kellys, when you're talking about true vintage, you know, from like, you know, 80s, etc., they mostly in black box leather, and they look so sophisticated. So older type of leather, smooth, glossy, you see no grains at all, very sophisticated, but it easily can be scratched, and it's may leave like blisters or watermarks with the rain, so not recommended for the rain. However, it's very easy to be repaired. So if you say you send in this to Hermes Spa, 99% of the time, you know, handbags that made of box leather, especially the black one, they coming back from the Hermes Spa looking almost like a brand new. So box leather, one of the oldest type of leather. Next, one of the oldest type of leather from Hermes is Barenia. I don't have the actual Barenia, but I have Barenia Faubourg. This is also their traditional type of leather, but this is a little bit newer version. It's from 2017. Let me just come a little bit closer to the camera. So this specific Barenia Faubourg was introduced in 2017, and the difference between original Barenia and Barenia Faubourg is that in Barenia Faubourg you see those little grains. Otherwise, it's absolutely the same characteristics. It's has kind of like very, very soft, shiny, almost like a shimmer on top of the leather. It has very distinctive smell. It's very, very durable leather. It's scratch resistant. I mean, you can easily scratch, but then you can easily buff it off with the fingers. And it's almost like, if I could make the comparison, it's like a suede. You going with the grains and against the grains. So that's what I said. Like, you can buff off any scratch of this leather. So let me just once again just want to show to you closer this leather. Absolutely gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Let me once again refer to my notes. So Barenia Faubourg, as I said, the ones that I have, it was introduced in 2017, but the actual Barenia, comparing to Barenia Faubourg, it's just a smooth, absolutely smooth leather. It's one of the traditional leather. They used to do saddles with this leather. Very durable, resistant to scratches, but I mean, in a sense, you scratch it and you can polish it off with your fingers very easily. It's traditional leather. It's also water resistant. It doesn't leave any watermark. Also, another major characteristics of this leather is that it's patina with time. And maybe on mine handbag it won't be as visible because I have it in a bean color and it's a darker color, but I would say in a lighter color, like a fur color of the Barenia, you will see it will darken with time. So, oh my gosh, this leather really smells absolutely fantastic. I was even you know, at some point somewhat toying with the idea maybe selling this handbag because, you know, I just needed some funds, but then I changed my mind. It's absolutely gorgeous and I'm so glad that I have it in my collection. So Barenia or Barenia Faubourg leather is another type of leather from Hermes. So next leathers that I want to talk about, and from this leather unfortunately I don't have any handbag, but I have the other side of the belt, and this is one of the common leather for I would say Birkins or even Kellys or any other handbags, and this is Togo leather. Togo leather made of baby calf, like bull, baby bull. It's very, very soft. It's very light, which is important. It's pretty much scratch resistant. It's water resistant, so it wears really well. So that's why people like this leather so very much. It's also natural grains, because quite often we have like kind of like stamped artificial grains on the leather. This is actually natural grains of baby calf. And I'm gonna actually bring it a little bit closer to the camera. Let me see if I didn't forget anything. No, I didn't forget anything. Let me just bring it closer to the camera. So this is Togo. You can see those grains. They're a little bit raised. You can see them very clearly. They kind of raised grains, but they're not larger size. Very, very popular leather for Hermes purchasers. And as I said, Hermes using this leather very, very widely for the handbags because it's made of, as I said, baby bull, baby calf, and it's quite larger piece of leather. So obviously in any larger size of the handbags, you have no problem constructing handbag from this leather. The main, I would say, disadvantage, but for me personally, it's not disadvantage, but some people may not like it. This leather often has a veins, like, you know, the veins going through the leather, and obviously it's natural characteristics of the leather, but some people don't like it, especially when you're buying such an expensive handbag. You want it to be look perfect with no any kind of marking on the leather, but it's specific characteristics of the Togo leather. So the next leather that I want to talk about, it's Clemence leather. Once again, one of the widely used leathers, and it's used for the Kellys and Birkins sometimes. Very often it's used for Evelyn or Picotin. It's very slouchy, so that's the main characteristics of this leather. Very slouchy, very soft. It's kind of like, you know, smooth touch, like, you know, to the hands. In comparison to the Togo, when I'm gonna come closer to the camera, I will show to you, it has larger grains and it's not as shiny. It's kind of like flatter looking leather. It's the grains itself, it's much more flatter. So let me just once again look at my cheat sheet and the major characteristics of this leather. So once again, this leather was introduced in 1980. Bigger and flatter grains than Togo. It's also made of baby wool. It's very durable, very slouchy leather. Another major characteristics of this leather is that it's extremely heavy. And as I said, I used to have also in the newer leather, it's not Clemence, it's Turilium Maurice, because this is Turilium Clemence, obviously made of wool, that's why it's Turilium Clemence, which is a little bit more structured. And in the larger handbags, oh my gosh, it's so heavy, absolutely heavy. And it also can have blisters in the rain, so it's not recommended to use it in the rain. Otherwise, it's resistant to scratches, it's very pleasant to touch, it's perfect for kind of like, you know, softer handbags. But as I said, if it would have been my choice, I wouldn't use this leather for larger handbags, because otherwise with the lining and everything, it can get really heavy. So I'm gonna bring it closer to the camera and I will show you next to the Togo leather. You will see the difference. See, this is the Togo. The grains are more raised and smaller size, and this is the Clemence. They're kind of flatter, more flat, almost like, you see, kind of like almost like a stretchy leather. They're flatter and bigger. So they're both made of baby calf, but I guess different type of baby calf. So this is Togo, this is Clemence. And the next, the most popular leather from the Hermes, it's Epsom. And from Epsom, I have actually several items. I have my CDC bracelet. It's in a tube with palladium plated hardware. And when I first got this bracelet, it was so structured, it almost was uncomfortable to put it on. Now I have it for 3 years. I use it plenty, and it's getting like really much softer. And this is the characteristics of the leather, that at the beginning it's very structured, but then it gives in, it's getting more softer with time. Then I have my belt. Once again, one side it's in a tube and the other side it's in the white color, and it's once again Epsom. And when I got it, it was also extremely kind of hard and structured. And the last not least, it's my Kelly, and I have Kelly in black Epsom leather. So I'm gonna put these items right there, and let me look at my cheat sheet. I know pretty much all the characteristics of this leather, but still I just want to make sure that I say everything correctly. So first and foremost, Epsom, it's not natural, like, I mean, it's natural, it's made of natural leather, but the grains is not naturally occurred in nature. So this is actually embossed. So when they heat it up leather and then press stamp specific grains, and that's why it looks so unified, like, you know, every single grain looks like a neighboring grain. So it's embossed leather. It's very scratch resistant. It's very structural leather, so that's why often they use it for Kellys, especially in Kelly Salier, when it's a structured type of handbag. It's very easy to clean. It has no problem with the rain. You just wipe it off with the damp clothes and it's perfect. And it's very, very lightweight in comparison to, say, Clemence leather or some other like Maurice leather, which is heavy. This is very, very lightweight leather, and that is another major characteristics of this leather. So when you get your handbag or anything in Epsom leather from the store, at the beginning it's extremely structured. It's very difficult almost to open handbag and use it, but with the time it gets softer and it's aged quite well, and also with the time it gets an additional sheen to it, like, you know, an additional sheen to leather. So I'm gonna bring it closer to the camera and show to you. I'm gonna show you my CDC in a tube, because it's like, you know, just to see how this leather takes the color. And actually this leather takes color really beautifully. I saw some handbags in Epsom leather in bright color and they look really gorgeous, but even the tube, which is like kind of very, very subtle color, it looks gorgeous in Epsom leather. So let me come a little bit closer to the camera and I will show to you this leather closely. See the grains, see the sheen that develops. Oh, it's kind of a little bit dirty right here. I have to clean it up. So there you go. Very, very rigid, very, very structured leather. And this is my CDC bracelet. Gorgeous. And as I said, it's getting really softer comparing what it used to be. Let's put it this way, getting really, really softer. And that's the major also characteristics of this leather, that at the beginning it's very, very rigid and structured, and then it's getting softer. And frankly, myself, I noticed also when I just got my Kelly about a year ago, literally it's almost like uncomfortable to use. I even did the video popular handbags with the flows, when I show how difficult it's to open the handbag and, you know, pull in all the sangles. But I notice right now, the more I use this handbag, the more handbag becomes relaxed, the easier it becomes, like, you know, to use. It's getting much, much easier to use this handbag. So Epsom, it's another extremely popular leather from Hermes. Next leather that I want to talk from Hermes, it's actually, I would say, not as popular, or very few people talking about this leather. This is also embossed leather, and this is fairly new leather, because when they introduced this Epsom leather, and actually I didn't put it at what year they introduced Epsom leather. If I could find the information, I will put it somewhere at the beginning, at the bottom of the screen. But I mean, Epsom leather is fairly new leather to the fashion house, because it's not like a Box or Barenia. And recently also they introduced this new leather. This leather named Madame. It's quite soft and comfortable and plush. And it looks like it's a natural grain, but in fact it's not. It's also embossed leather. I noticed this leather being introduced mostly in small leather goods, I guess because, like, I don't know what is the reasoning, but anyway, I'm gonna bring this leather closer to the camera and you will see. Once again, it almost looks like a natural grains, but it's not. It's very, very, very tiny grains. And in fact, I have two bracelets in this leather. Like, if you don't see like closely, it almost looks like a box, but it's not, because it has very, very tiny grains. It has beautiful sheen, and it's also embossed leather. So it's very, very scratch resistant, but at the same time, it's very soft. So this is the fairly new leather to the fashion house, and I have it in CDC gold color with the gold hardware, and I have black with the palladium plated hardware. So Personally, I didn't see any handbags in this leather. I don't know why, since it's embossed, so obviously they can use it for the larger handbags. Almost like feels like Hermes testing this leather to see if people like this leather. I personally find this leather very, very light. It's very light in weight, very easy to use. Like, as I said, I have no scratches or anything, and it looks really luxurious. Like sometimes people complain about Epsom that it's kind of almost looking plasticky. This leather doesn't look plasticky or anything, but this is embossed leather. So Madame is another type of leather that I want to talk about. And I have few exotic pieces, guys, to share with you. And my first exotic piece is Lizard, and I have it in a lizard bracelet. I also once again recently acquired this lizard bracelet. It's in the color desert, I believe, and it's natural lizard. I mean, gosh, it's almost I forgot the name. So this is natural lizard. Let me see my notes, what I put about this leather. So mine is Lizard Varanus, if I pronounce it correctly. It can come in matte and shiny. Mine is in shiny. The major disadvantage of this leather is that it's fairly delicate. The scale can dry out, and also I noticed when I use it and the water kind of sprinkle on the bracelet, the scales were lifted and then they once again flatten back. So beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. This leather is obviously exotic, very difficult to get this leather, especially in handbags. And if you get it in a handbag, mostly it's in a smaller, like mini Kelly or maybe Kelly 25 is the biggest. And absolutely gorgeous, extremely luxurious looking. I have no regrets of purchasing this leather and absolutely love it. Would I buy it in a handbag? I mean, keeping in mind how delicate this leather, and as I said, any tiny sprinkle of water raise those scales, maybe not, but in small leather goods or in like bracelets, etc., I think it's absolutely gorgeous. Really, really love it. And my last, definitely not least, pièce de resistance of all my leathers that I have in my collection. And anytime I'm looking at this piece, I'm still gasping and thinking, oh my gosh, do I really have this, you know, handbag and this leather in my collection? Anyway, it's exotic leather. It's combination of both. It's ostrich and shiny alligator, and it's in Birkin 30. So if you look or watch any of my wish list videos, I always said if I would be able to get my dream, absolute dream bag from Hermes, it will be an ostrich handbag. It's an acquired taste. It's not for everybody. Some people absolutely hate this kind of, like, you know, polka dots looks. And once again, when it comes to Hermes, they kind of flatten those you know, pores of the ostrich, and you know, it looks more flatter. Nevertheless, it's quite visible, and I have it in indigo blue and black. Why I wanted to have an ostrich? Because once again, it's extremely luxurious looking leather and I love this look. The second thing, it's very, very light, extremely light leather. It's very durable leather, and when it comes to any exotic leather, they said it's the most durable leather. It's an ostrich. It's also water resistant, so if you're worried about the rain, etc., etc., if you have ostrich handbag, no worry, just wipe it off and it's all good. Really gorgeous leather. I absolutely love the look, etc. The only negative things, but once again, it's a personal preference. Ostrich leather, if it's exposed to light for a very long time, and it could be natural or even just like, you know, regular light from the light bulb, it's gonna get lighter. So with the light, it's getting lighter. And obviously it's darkened with no light. And also it's get darker from the oils, so hands of the oils. So that's why mostly on the handles you can see any ostrich handbag gets really darker on the handles. In my case, obviously my handles made of shiny alligator. It's totally different story. I don't have to worry about that. And it's almost like, you know, perfect combo for somebody who doesn't want to get their handbag you know, looking darker on the handles. So that's what I said. Okay, let me just check my notes about ostrich just to be sure. Yes, ostrich, very durable, very light, water resistant leather, change color with the light, and it's also patina from oil hands. And just in general, it's patina and gets like almost like a sheen with the time. Even right now it has slight sheen, but with the time it's get even more shiny, just get that kind of sheen. So the alligator leather, and they can be either shiny or matte. In my case, I have it shiny, absolutely gorgeous. Look at that, look at that. Oh my gosh, what a beauty. And to achieve this look, actually they polish every single scale with agate, like, you know, agate stone, and that's how you get this look. It's a fairly you know, delicate leather, because obviously it's exotic, so you have to be very, very careful with this leather. Try not to expose to the rain. So this one is actually not as rain resistant as an ostrich, let's say. And I mean, it's definitely exotic, definitely this handbag is like, it's something special. And as I said, I'm never imagine in my life that I was able to score this handbag in this specific combo. Anyway, that is wrapped up all the leathers in my collection. I mean, I could obviously, Hermes has bunch of different leathers, and I could talk about them for like, you know, until Kao comes home, especially if I gonna get like cheat sheet over here. But I wanna talk and show you the leathers that I personally experience and have personal you know, use, try on, etc. So this is the old leathers that I used to have. Actually, I'm gonna mention also one more leather. It's Turilian Maurice, and I don't have that handbag any longer. I'm gonna insert maybe some kind of modeling shots. It's my 24, and I love the handbag. I did also recently video handbags I sold and why, but oh my gosh, that leather is heavy. It has somewhat characteristics of Clemence leather, but it has also veining like Togo leather. So it has a veining like Togo. It's heavy as a Clemence. It's more structured. It's way more structured than Clemence or Togo. It's kind of between these three leathers, but oh my gosh, it's beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. It's kind of robust, but oh my gosh, it's heavy. Oh my gosh, it's heavy. Anyway, I think that's it for today. If you like the video, please don't forget to give me likes. Once again, I want to mention that I'm not an expert in you know, Hermes leathers, and if you have some additional comments, please comment below, because by no way I'm not claiming to be an expert. So that's about it for today, and I will see you on my next one. Bye bye.